Hey everyone, in this lesson we're going to take a look at some different picking techniques that'll really be helpful in Fish's repertoire, but just in your own playing in general. For the most part, we either have to do alternate picking, where you follow a down with an up and vice versa, and then economy picking, where if you have to change over strings, you ideally do that on a downstroke if you're moving down and an upstroke if you're moving up, which may seem really obvious, but I think it'll make more sense as we get into this as we go. So for the first thing we're going to do, we'll do a C major and then a C minor arpeggio 4 times each, first with economy picking and then with alternate picking, and then we're going to switch positions. So 8th fret of low E is our starting point, and we'll go like this: 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, down, down, up, down, down, up. 1, 2, 3, 4, then minor, 2, 3. Now with alternate picking, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Now minor, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Back to economy. And alternate. Now I'm just going to pause for a moment. If you play through that first little exercise, you'll have noticed that with economy picking, everything's really consistent. You will always start with a down, at least in this example, and we always end with an up. Whereas if we do alternate picking, what happens is your first phrase starts with a down, and then your next phrase starts with an up, which is really good because that is going to force you into being comfortable with starting phrases with downs and ups and not being attached to it. So now let's move on to the next example here. We're going to go middle finger on the 8th fret, same starting notes, same notes actually overall. It's just that we're going to play in a different position. We're going to start with economy and then do alternate. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, down, down, up, down, down, up. Alternate. Down, down, up. Alternate. So again, as you can see with alternate, you have to start with a down for your phrase. Then your next phrase starts with an up. You keep alternating between those two. Economy was consistent the whole time. And I'm not pointing that out to say one is better than the other, but just to point out the differences. Now as we go to this next version of the triads, we're going to start with a pointer finger on the 8th fret of low E, so same notes. We're going to do major, we're going to do minor, but it'll look a little different. And then this one, as we start with economy picking, we're going to start with an up on this one. We'll go up, down, up, up. So right off the bat, that's going to be kind of different than the other one, but that's okay, because I would say try to be as diverse with your technique as you possibly can, so that no matter what kind of lick or riff or solo or whatever comes your way, you'll be prepared to play it. So we're going to start with an up on 8th fret. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, up, down, up, down, up. Alternate. Back to economy. Alternate. So then the next goal could be to treat those 3 positions as one whole exercise where you're able to go from one to the next. So let's try that. And for brevity's sake, instead of me repeating it, I'm going to do one round of each version instead of doing 2, just to keep it moving. So let's go back to pinky finger starting point and go from there. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, down, down, up, down, down, up. Okay, now moving on, we're going to do another major scale based exercise where we're going to practice outside picking and then inside picking specifically. So we're going to take the diatonic chords but make them into diads, just 2-note voicings where it's root third, could be major third or minor third. And it's going to go like this. We're going to have 3rd fret of A as our starting point. And we're going to do outside picking, meaning that we're going to start on the A string with a down and then do an up on the D string. So we're always on the outsides of the strings. And then we'll do another round where we try inside picking, where we start with an up and then a down, up, down. So those are really different techniques. Inside picking, I think, is quite a bit harder, so it'll be worth looking into. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, and... Now inside. Outside. One more time, inside. Now, for the next one, it's going to be really similar to the last one, but now we're going to do, instead of going root third, we're going to do third root. So just first inversion. And now this one is going to end up sounding a little bit more like You Enjoy Myself. There's a part in particular where we do some of these, or even when he's doing these, that kind of stuff, this is kind of where that comes from. So we're going to put the ring finger on the 7th fret of the A string. We jump over the D string and go to G. So that's the other benefit, is if you do this one too, you're going to work on string hopping, where you have to do either alternate or economy picking, but over multiple strings, sometimes skipping strings. Let's do outside picking and then inside picking. 1, 2, ready, and... Now inside. Now let's do the same one more time, a little bit faster. 1, 2, 3, and... Inside. That technique in particular really is important in, again, in You Enjoy Myself, the part where he's up here. I I can remember the first time I really watched footage of Trey playing that and being really blown away that was what he was doing, because it would not be something I would think to do at all, and that's the genius of Trey. He's so versatile that it didn't even, doing like down, up on this part in particular is kind of tricky. I would be so tempted to just go down, up, down, up, down, up, down. So it's outside picking. That's why getting stronger with your inside picking is a big deal. All right, for the next one, we're going to do another major scale-based exercise doing triads. Now we're going to purposely move it in a linear way and just get a different approach. So we'll try alternate picking, and then we'll try economy picking. So we're going to play C major like this. We're going to have ring finger on 5 of G, pinky on 5 of B, and then pointer on 3 of E, and that's our first one. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, ready, and down, up, 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 down, up. Now let's play the same chords, but let's do it economy picking, where we go down, down, up, down, down, up. 1, 2, 3, ready, and... Now, let's try the same two, going from alternate to economy, one right into the other and a little bit faster. 1, 2, 3, ready, and down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Down, down, up, down, down, up. Now for the last thing we'll look at, we're going to do more of a chord-based approach here, more like something you would hear in a song like Taste, where he's doing a really fast picking pattern. In that song he does triplets, and we're going to get to that in a minute, but first we'll do it in just groupings of 4, doing first alternate and then doing economy picking. And I'm going to just use like a C chord as the example, but I'm going to do C over E. So it's just first inversion without the ring finger, if you think of your C chord like that. So I'm going to start on the D string and just do alternate picking first. So down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up. So that was a round of alternate and then a round of economy. So here we go again. Down, up, 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 down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, up. Again, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, 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 up. And for an extra challenge, if that's not quite pushing you enough, just do it an octave higher with arpeggios instead of holding the chord down. So then you would get down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Then down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up. Then down, up, down, up. And down, 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 up. Now, let's do something more aligned with what you would hear in Taste, where we do triplets. So it's almost the same thing, but now instead of ending our phrase on the high E string and just jumping back to D, now we're going to work our way back up over the strings. So we get down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And that's kind of like you would hear in Taste. Now, that's the alternate picking version of it, but then you could also do economy and go down, 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 up, up. you'll notice that my angle at first is downward when I'm going down, and when I get to the E string, I rotate my wrist and go up, 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 like that. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Whereas with the economy, alternate picking, it's just kind of, it's a microcosm of that kind of rotation. So we've got down, up, down, up. And then again, if you want to create a little extra challenge for yourself, you can just simply do it an octave higher, and it would be like this: down, up, down, up, down, up. Then economy, alternate, economy. And really, both of those techniques are really important, maybe even essential to have down under your fingers. What happened for me personally was once I discovered economy picking, I thought that was the end-all be-all and that everything should be economy picking, but that was a major mistake because alternate picking has its own sound, it has its own characteristic to it, and it has its own advantages sometimes. So, it's really good to have each one of those ready to go. And as you go through this, and you can download the worksheet and try to play along, maybe start at a really slow tempo. Like I always kind of say, slow and steady is the way to go with this stuff. If your goal is to get faster with your playing in general, or with your picking, or better at your picking technique, the slower the better at first, and then try to kind of ease up the tempo. So I hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.